afternoon, Mayor.
Good afternoon.
Back on Springfield, will that ask for CPS be enough to address the district's financial issues for next year without needing to go back to maybe previous borrowing plans or that budget amendment?
Well, look, if you're asking me if there is ever going to be enough funding for our public education system, my hope and aspiration is built around the evidence-based funding model that I know the state of Illinois is committed to increasing that funding year over year. How we get to full funding over time is something that is the responsibility of all of us. As I said, our budget director and our chief financial officer meet with the governor's staff on a regular basis to address a whole host of issues. Look, in order for us to be fully realized, it's going to take some time to get there. No one is disputing that. So whatever we ask for, I think there's no secret that whether it's the school district 299 or other school districts, they're going to be perpetual asks over time. Look, here's the most important thing, though. There's not a mayor that's fighting hard to ensure that our public schools are fully funded and supported. All right, here we go. I do this once. I'm sorry, Aaron. All right, so I'm going to upset my... Somehow, Alice, you just managed to bring out the best in me. I was watching an interview between Rahm Emanuel and someone else, and I was incredibly bothered by his temerity. Look, there's a long sustained movement in this city that has pushed back against neoliberalism and the neoliberal agenda that work to set up austere budgets to ultimately undermine public accommodations. Like the playbook that Donald Trump is running is a playbook that Rahm Emanuel executed in this city. And, we didn't get here because we just happened to have a tyrant in the White House. We got here because someone gave him the script. And the shutting of schools, the firing of black women, privatizing our public education system is why the system is as jacked up as it is today. And yes, we have to ask more, but we have to also be clear about how we got here. The Emanuel administration had immense disdain for public education, and particularly black, brown, and poor children. And he was vocal about it. He told one of my heroes, Sheroes, that 25% of children won't become anything. Those are his words directly to Karen Lewis. And now he is prancing around this country asking people to reconsider him. It is not just frustrating, it is beyond offensive. Now, again, to your question, it won't be enough until every single child has everything that they need in this city. And I'm going to fight with everything in me to ensure that that happens.
And then in terms of, revenue to fund issues like that, I understand what you're saying about it's up to Springfield to discuss this progressive revenue, but as...
It's not up to Springfield. I'm just saying they play a part of it. What is it, 60% of our budgetary options are controlled by Springfield. So it's incumbent upon all of us to work hand in hand. Look, our enemy is pointing all of their ammunition directly at progressive leadership like mine. It is. And in Springfield, I'm going to have conversations with the Speaker of the House, the Senate President, the Governor, all Democrats. We have one common enemy in this country right now. And maybe enemy is too harsh of a word. We have one common opposition. And that is the extremism in this country that has demonstrated that public accommodations and that government in and of itself should only benefit the ultra rich. The fact that we have billionaires circling around all that which is meaningful for working people in this country is problematic. The last thing that this country needs is the ultra-rich controlling and dictating how working people live and how poor people experience government. That's why we put forth the 1.25 bond investment, the largest investment in the history of Chicago for housing and economic development, the $830 million to respond to the infrastructure needs that we have. The green social housing, to give us another tool so that we don't have to rely upon the federal government to build affordable housing. These are all of the efforts that we've put forth, hiring more young people, growing our community colleges, investing in our public schools, making sure the behavioral and mental health support services are available, attracting more businesses, a city that is open for business, not for sale, for the sake of working people is what I ran on and is what I'm delivering in this moment. And so, no, it's not incumbent upon just one level of government. It's requiring all of us to work together, and that is what I'm desperately organizing in this moment, bringing people together to solve critical issues that working people are counting on us to do.
So next week when you meet with these state leaders, are there any specific new taxes you might want to propose, put your weight behind, such as another go at the progressive income tax, a corporate head tax? And
Yes, but you know where I stand on that issue, right? I think we should take on it all. And it's going to require us in this moment to have a little bit of gall and some political fortitude to show for working people. That's what they want. That's what they get out of me as mayor. No one in this room questions my values. You all don't question my values. You certainly don't question my motives. I'm going to repopulate this city with working people, and whatever it takes to do that, that's what I'm willing, and that's what I'm committing myself to.
Alice, we gotta keep it going.
Alice.
Thanks.